I'm digging that, man.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They really cleaned it up there.
Dude, it just has such a really good feeling, old school style beat to it.
Great day to play. Great day to play.
Great day to play, everybody. Welcome on into the channel.
Yeah.
Whether it's your first time here, you were joining us. Thank you for being with us today. You are loved, appreciated, always welcome here on this channel, and you are
Enough.
Today we are doing Lee. I don't know if it's Young or Yoon. I'm probably saying it wrong. Lee Youngji, and this is not sorry. The video that we originally got requested didn't have lyrics, so we found a lyric video. I know that they're not always perfect, but it still gives us an idea. Gives us a better idea of what's happening here. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. Don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow along with our journey. Check out our live streams Saturdays, noon Central Time on YouTube and Twitch. And check out our music on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. But without further ado, let's go.
Okay. Some cabaret style or like 50s. Ooh.
Kind of like jazzy.
Yeah, jazzy.
Okay. 엄마나 힙합 관둘게 혼자서만 덧대된 것 같아 다들 폭식 터뜨리고 벌레 축제 진심은 전부 곡해 사랑은 왜곡돼 모든 게 다 쉽게 변해 플라스틱 같아 Look you in the mirror you're the human being too 잘 없긴 똑같이 다 견눈질 뿐 우리 원칙에 갇힌 빈 깡통 덩어리 이리저리 굴러온 세상을 휙 뒤집어놓지 스타일 바꿔 마인드 바꿔 이참에 챙겨 눈치도 다리 떨지 말고 살도 빼 동네 장피소 걔 힘은 좀 빼 잡히 니가 뱉는 구절 전부 힙합 아니니까 밖에는 치워 And I don't give a damn about what you say 우리 엄마 말도 잘 안 듣던 내가 네 말은 왜 힙합 난 힙합 I don't mind it 차례대로 대장에는 아니야 오마카세
Very like, it was almost like experimental jazz there for a second, right? The beats were kind of odd and just.
This reminds me of like not Erykah Badu, well, kind of, or like God, she had the biggest hair. I don't remember her name.
She had the biggest hair.
Oh God, someone put it in the comments. You know what I'm talking about. But like just how it's dry.
Yeah.
Like everything's so dry. Like the piano, there's no reverb. There's no reverb on the drums. No reverb or anything on her vocal. It's like they want you to feel like you are in a very small, intimate room.
And that's what, like, everything about the backing just feels like you're like in a smoky room somewhere.
Yeah.
Kind of just like an old jazz bar, jazz club. One light's on, piano sitting there. Just she's sitting back on a chair, just
With one of those microphones with the things in it.
old school mics and stuff.
I
Sequiny dress.
It's like it's that sound is a very padded, small room sound.
Yeah.
Like those old jazz clubs. What they used to do is they would line the walls with like how we have it, but every wall would be like that.
Yeah.
So it would be really clear, but it wouldn't be very big.
Yeah.
So everything sounded really intimate. And they stopped doing that now because it doesn't make sense to anything that's trying to sound big. But back then, especially when they didn't, because there was a lot of African American people, they weren't really allowed to be in that many people around all at once.
Yeah.
So it had to be quiet so the people outside didn't hear too.
Yeah.
So like it made that sound, and this is that same kind of sound where it's just tiny and tight.
Very tight and intimate. Yeah.
I can feel her
cool. in your headphone, like she's right there.
Yeah.
I don't care about what people say Nah I don't give a fuck about what you say I'm not sorry 머릿속엔 언제나 only me, myself and I Don't worry 철없게 살아도 어쩌겠어 I'm the only one 미안해 하나도 아무것도 미안해
Macy Gray.
Yes, thank you.
When the chorus came in,
Yes.
then I was like,
Macy Gray.
There it is, Macy Gray. Yeah.
That's exact because she had the big hair.
Yeah. Yep.
God, thank you.
Yep.
날 웃으니까 내가 참 바보 같나 봐 나에 대해서 잘 알지도 못하면서 always killing my vibe 뭐라도 되는 줄 아나 봐 Feeling like you becoming somebody 하지만 그건 너의 착각 난 물어볼 게 있어 삿대질 자격 어딨어 날 가르쳐 들려 하지마 You ain't my teacher I'll school you 넌 왈가왈부 할 짓 없이 그냥 말만 많고 Peach one show me featuring 제발 좀 그만 나와 노래도 못하면서 singing하는 복면가왕 자극적이지 않아 재미없어 희니 드라마 괜찮아 난 모든 일에 내 진심을 담아 But look it 내 무기 두기를 닫은 채 눈치 안 보기 헛수해버린 losers 물어봐 후기
Dude, you hear that? Dude, that was the flow in that.
Dude.
The syllables that he was using is very like Eminem-esque slash Scribbin Blam Sloobin, the guy that you like that makes those plays.
Manuel Miranda.
Yes, yeah.
You have a different name for him every time.
Hey, you have 3 names. Get rid of 2. Don't need them. But it was that those syllables, like those middle syllables, and that was really cool. Go ahead. You got something?
I was just gonna say that like the flow and the vocals have to be really, really good because the backing is so simple in so much of this song. You know what? And so like you really need that vocal character because of how dry they are.
Yeah.
Like it's not something that's being added. Like just when I remember when the song first started and I first heard her voice, it was kind of one of those things of like, oh, how's this gonna go? But then like that character really lent to the song, and then when he came in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like both of them just have such really cool character in their voice.
It's
you know,
you could hear. So this is something that was a surprise to me when we first started getting into K-pop, is the attitude of their vocals, like the type of attitude that you would hear from someone who had a hard knock life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Most of hip hop, you know what I mean? That kind of it sounds a little boastful even when you're not, kind of thing. And like when you hear it in this, because everything's so clean, you're like, oh, like he's about that life, because you can hear it in his vocal. And you went to Korea, and so did you, when you saw Korea for what it was, because you were kind of in the middle of it, did you see like the people's normal lives kind of, and like how that could transfer into having that kind of attitude in a vocal?
I mean, I don't necessarily think that I personally saw anything like that. There were definitely places that we walked through that you could tell that like it might have been like a little lesser, but we were in pretty nice places, right? Like we were in like Seoul, but in a nicer part of Seoul. We went to Busan, we went to Jeju. I think there was actually some places in Jeju that I thought might like be able to lend more to that. But again, like no different than here. Like if you didn't know where to look, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah,
like, you wouldn't know, right?
You wouldn't know.
And so I'm sure that there are pockets. I'm sure that there's an underground scene. I'm sure that there's all kinds of stuff like that, especially when you get to like the underground rap scene and stuff like that there. So like the things that we saw, like I wouldn't think that. But at the same point in time, though, we also have to remember that like we look at that, and when we think that way, we look at that through a very American lens, right? Because when we hear vocals like that, when we hear stuff like that, in our culture, that is very much tied to a lived experience.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that is where hip hop music started, right? And that is how it started. Where I don't necessarily, like, obviously no different than other artists here have grown and hip hop is built. Their hip hop has obviously grown and built as well. And there's not a huge minority population in terms of what we would consider it, right? It's not like there's a huge,
but
like,
some of them,
African.
some people are minorities to each other.
Correct.
You know?
Right. So I think like that attitude might just come from a different type of place, not necessarily the same way that we see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where
It could
was
come
kind
from
of like
branding too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily like a fight against the man in the same way that where like ours kind of started, right? Like our hip hop scene started, but it doesn't mean that there's not a huge backstory and history behind it that we don't know about there.
Right.
And then, of course, then you add in the groups and the branding and stuff like that on top of it.
Yeah.
Because like it's not abnormal. We've heard this in groups where like you'll hear a group that has these flawless vocals, right? And then all of a sudden they'll do a hip hop song, and it's like, bam, attitude, right? And it's just like, you know,
where'd that come from?
Yeah, it's very, very much. Like, it's not abnormal to see a group and in one song they're dressed in like very, very nice, bright colors, and then the next one they're in like chains.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah.
It's more about aesthetics there.
Like early BTS, they were all in black with the chains
because they were
flat hat.
because they were really K hip hop back in the day, right? And it was more about aesthetics than it was about an experience. And I think like I know that a lot of people didn't like it. There was a show called, God, why is it escaping me right now? American Hustle Life. And BTS, when they were very, very young, came to America, went to LA, and it was Coolio, and they had like a couple of like mentors and stuff like that.
Coolio?
Yeah.
Was what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Warren G was in one of the episodes. They did a video.
Okay, that's acceptable.
They did a video with Warren G, and it was like the first episode was really, really hard to watch because you have like these guys who like Jungkook's show wasn't even 18 at that point in time. There's like one, they like take them into like the hood, and then like their managers and everything get out of the car, and like two dudes jump in the car and like take off with them. And they didn't know, like like they had no idea that it was happening. And then like they shoved them into this room, and like they thought they were being kidnapped, and like they're literally in the middle of the hood, and like it's really weird. But the point of the show was it was to teach them about like the real upbringings of hip hop, right? Like where hip hop actually came from. And they actually, after the first like episode and a half, you could tell like they had a conversation about like it couldn't continue like that.
Yeah. Stop kidnapping our people.
It very much changed, but it still was really cool because they took them to like Compton. They took them into like some of the old stores. They did a bunch of, they went around and like they talked to people like in those areas. They went and handed out food in some of like the really impoverished areas. Like they did a bunch of stuff to kind of just get a better understanding for it. And you could really tell then that like hip hop to them before that was about just music. Right? Because unless you grow up somewhere like this where you see that type of poverty, like I mean, where we're from, right? We literally see that on a daily basis, right? Like we are very, very close to it. And if you've never done that, I don't really think you have a good appreciation for it. So it was very cool over the 6 or 8 episodes, I think it was 8 episodes, to watch them kind of grow and kind of learn
that
about that. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. 적당히 맞추면서 살아가 일일이 다 설명하기에 내 입이 아파.
I'm always trying to live my own life. 내 앞자리 막기에도 난 충분히 바빠.
난 나를 속여가면서 바뀌고 싶지는 않아.
너 아니어도 사랑해주는 사람 너무 많아.
I don't care.
I don't care.
What you say?
What you say?
I don't give a fuck about what you say. I'm not sorry. 머릿속엔 언제나 only me, myself and I.
She has an interesting voice.
Yeah.
절없게 살아도 어쩌겠어. I'm the only one. 미안해. 하나도 아무것도 미안하지 않았어. 전화답게 살아가고픈 것뿐. Yeah. I wish that I could be the only one who get a lot of love, no hate, but 어려워 and I 21 and I got a lot of pride in this song. 길 잃은 청춘이지만 그게 내 길이고 우리 반의 반쪽짜리 육체를 다듬어 당당히 날 몰아붙인 위선과 꺼짓다 깔고 길이 패막연히 끄떡이고 조화를 이긴 죽기보다 싫으니 I don't give a damn about what you said. I'm not sorry.
Okay. I'm digging that, man.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They really cleaned it up there.
Dude, it just has such a really good feeling, old school style beat to it.
Like
man.
you just kind of want to. It'd be like a scene. It'd be on like a scene in Hitch. You know what I mean? Just, I'm not sorry.
Yeah.
It sounds very New York. Very like wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's very, very interesting, man.
Don't worry. 절없게 살아도 어쩌겠어. I'm the only one. 미안해. 하나도 아무것도 미안하지 않았어. 전화답게 살아가고픈 것뿐. Hey. I'm not sorry. Hey. Don't worry. 미안해. 하나도 아무것도 미안하지 않았어. 전화답게 살아가고픈 것뿐.
Wow.
That was a nice surprise.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It really, as we talk kind of about like early hip hop, it really did remind me a lot of the early like women hip hop stars also sang a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You think of like Queen Latifah, Mary J. Blige kind of group, and like all of them though, like I look back and I think about it, and they all kind of had that deeper, raspier voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that it's like her voice was meant for this because like she kind of has the same thing here. It's like that very deep kind of raspy.
It's like rounded off in a way.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. So it kind of lends to that whole flavor, and I just really
A lot
like
of flavor.
that. Really like that. Very interesting. Not a very big group. It looks like the topic only has like 30,000 subscribers to the topic, which is where this took us to. So yeah, don't know much more about them. But you guys could teach us more about them in the comments below, because we do love to read those comments, and I'd love to know more about what she's working on or they're working on in terms of projects. So do that. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow along with our journey. Check out our live streams, Saturdays noon Central Time. You just turned to me real creepy like a doll.
You just have your transitions are getting so good.
Are they?
Yeah. Yeah, because you're like, because I could tell you were like, if we keep talking, it's gonna take too long. So the thing and the thing and the thing, and also like subscribe, and here's the end of the video. Like you're getting really good at it. You're like, it's time to stop this.
I mean, we look at the time, we look at how long people are gonna watch,
I was like, wow, good job, good transition. I ruined it.
Nailed it.
Yeah,
we did almost nailed it.
Yeah,
we could have waited till the end of the video to talk about this, but that's okay. They get to see a little bit of behind the scenes.
Yeah, inside baseball.
Yeah. But seriously, guys, we really appreciate being here with you. And if you haven't already, check out our Spotify, Amazon, all of our music. You want to ruin it again?
No, I'm yawning. Keep going.
If nobody told you that they love you today, don't forget that we love you. You're appreciated, always welcome here in this channel, and you are enough. And last but certainly not least,
it was a great day to play.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next video.
Bye.